This presentation looks at moving on to employment. We know that transitioning from college to university and from university to work can feel overwhelming. We thought it would be helpful to provide two presentations to help with this. The expectations to be independent at each stage impact on most students and graduates, but for some there will be an additional disability-related barrier to consider and plan for, which we hope to cover in the following slides. Where we've recommended specific sites, then you'll find links on the resources slide at the end of this presentation. So before we start, let's tell you a little bit about AbilityNet and who we are and what we do. We are a technology charity whose vision is a digital world accessible to all. We work towards this vision via a number of activities: accessible testing and training, workplace consultancy and assessments, education consultancy and DSA assessments, free services, that's IT and accessibility help at home and online resources, blogs, events and webinars. This presentation looks at moving on to employment. So what happens if you're not sure whether to mention your disability or health condition? Is there anything that can provide some reassurances, Beck?
Yeah, well, finding a job doesn't need to be an uphill struggle. There are schemes, tools, and resources that can provide help so that you can reach your goals. One of these is the Disability Confidence Scheme. So, where you see that an organisation is disability confident, this means that they've signed up to the Disability Confident Government Scheme. It's designed to encourage employers to recruit and retain disabled people and those with health conditions. It's voluntary and has been developed by employers and disabled people's representatives. So our top tip is that you should look out for organisations that have signed up to the Disability Confidence Scheme.
What about if I'm used to using assistive technology in education and taking rest breaks when fatigued? How does this work when employed?
So this is about reasonable adjustments, something that all employers are legally required to do. Under the Equality Act 2010, there's a legal duty on employers to make these reasonable adjustments for disabled employees. The Act recognises that solutions may vary according to individual circumstances and offers simple criteria by which any proposed adjustment can be assessed. It must be effective, practical, and significant. Teresa, what sort of adjustments could be made?
So reasonable adjustments can start right from the interview, for example, arranging for it to be held on the ground floor for an applicant who uses a wheelchair. Then when employed, reasonable adjustments can involve changing working hours to take into account the effects of epilepsy, for example, or providing rest breaks or providing specialist equipment. The employer must look at what they can do to reduce or remove the disadvantage. Whilst many adjustments are free or low cost, there may be some that cannot be afforded by the employer, and this is where access to work can help. Beck, can you give a bit of an overview of access to work?
Yeah, so access to work can help you get or stay in work if you have a physical or mental health condition or a disability. The support you get will depend on your needs. So through access to work, you could apply for a grant to help pay for practical support with your work, advice about managing your mental health at work, or money to pay for communication support at job interviews. And our top tip is to take a look at access to work to see what adjustments could be funded for you.
What can I do about parking spaces, as I can't use public transport and so need to use a car?
Firstly, if you need a parking space due to your impairment or health condition, then speak with your potential employer about this and find out what they have. Very often they'll reserve you a place, especially when going for an interview. And if you're worried about asking for this over the phone, then just drop your contact and email.
Oh, that's really great advice, thanks. What happens if I can't drive, though, due to my disability? Could I get a taxi through access to work?
Yeah, if you can't use public transport and don't have access to a car, then access to work may provide some help towards the cost of a taxi when you're employed. And if you really can't get to your interview, it may be possible to have it conducted over a video call. So see if there's an alternative option to face-to-face interviews.
And what about for non-visible disabilities when travelling?
Yeah, there is support for this because not all disabilities are visible. So the sunflower lanyard is a globally recognised symbol for non-visible disabilities. And this includes autism, chronic pain, learning difficulties, as well as mental health conditions, mobility, speech impairments, and sensory loss such as speech, sight loss, hearing loss, or deafness. And they also include respiratory conditions as well. So some people choose to wear the sunflower lanyard to discreetly identify that they may need support, help, or just a little bit more time in public spaces or on transport.
And how about if I have a visual impairment and can't read a signpost, for example? Is there anything that can help there?
Yeah, so there's a great app called Be My Eyes. It's free to use, although it will use your phone's data as it involves a video call. But sighted volunteers lend their eyes to solve tasks big and small to help blind and partially sighted individuals lead more independent lives. So, for example, if you're not sure what a sign says, you could use your camera and share via the Be My Eyes app. And there's also other free apps that read text aloud when you point your phone camera at them, such as Seeing AI or Google Lookout. So, yeah, have a look at those apps. And our top tip is to make a plan in advance and do a trial run to get to your interview or new job on time. Ask for help if you don't want to do this on your own. And that way, if anything goes wrong, you've got support with you and you can work out what to do together. And then you've got a strategy in place if something happens on the day too. And if you really can't get there, then do ask if they'll conduct the interview over a video call.
You've spoken about the Access to Work scheme, but are there any free resources that could help me?
Yeah, at AbilityNet, we've got a great resource to help you adapt your own devices to meet your needs called My Computer My Way. It offers step-by-step instructions on how to adapt your phone, computer, or tablet so that it's easier to use. You can search for a specific need, so e.g. making text larger, or you can filter the guides based on your symptoms, so hand tremor, or your condition, for example, dyslexia.
Well, that sounds great. And what about any sort of anything that's free?
Yeah, we love free, and especially when it helps to support inclusion. Microsoft Office, for instance, have Immersive Reader. This helps to improve reading and comprehension by adapting the text on your screen through colour, font spacing, and speech output. Microsoft also have Dictate to support speech input. That's so useful to get your ideas out quickly or to use if you have RSI, for example. And some people like to use it if they can't spell a word. There's also the editor function to check for spelling and grammar. And our top tip is that you could look at one of our blogs called Dyslexia Tools, Software and Free Resources. There's a link in our resource slide at the end.
Oh, and we actually have a bonus top tip here as well. So Access to Work will help towards specialist chairs, height adjustable desks, and noise cancelling headphones, and many more things as well. You may have had a similar assessment through DSA funding for this equipment too. So you'll be familiar with the process of having an ergonomic assessment or an HI or a VI assessment. The culture of the organisation is really important. So I want to make sure that I make the right decision. So how can I find out about the working culture and whether I'll fit in?
Yeah, that's a really interesting question, and it's very much dependent upon your own ethics too. It's often hard to work out the culture of an organisation until you're working there, but it's well worth investigating.
So what should I be looking for?
Well, you want an organisation that's got a positive culture, where leaders communicate and interact with their employees and share their vision for the future. Look for systems and procedures that are structured, fair, and attract and welcome a diverse range of employees. You'll often see this from the moment a job is advertised. Do they provide a good onboarding process so that you're set up to achieve from the start? And is there a training and development pathway that makes adjustments for disabled people so that everybody has an opportunity to progress? Can you see positive role models and a range of ways to communicate and interact regardless of physical location? Those are just some of the areas that you might want to look at. You could also look at reviews of organisations from ex-employees, but be careful with that because there'll be a range of reasons why people are leaving an organisation. Our top tip is to look at the organisation's website and then ask the questions that are most important to you at your interview. Teresa, do you think I should share information about my disability with an employer? I'm not sure.
This is a personal decision and may depend on your condition and how it impacts your ability to do the job. It's also whether you feel comfortable about telling people about yourself. For some professions, you may need to meet a fitness to practice criteria set by a professional body, so you need to share details then. By telling your employer about your condition, they can then focus on your skills and abilities. Your personal experiences may have built a range of strengths, so include these on your CV or during the interview. Be confident about your skills you have developed. Many of them will be a great asset to you at work. These could include high levels of concentration, resilience, increased empathy towards others, being innovative, from the support and tools that you've used at university. You'll have built a fantastic list of skills and strengths. So do share those. If you've accessed the DSA allowance, think about what you've used to achieve your degree too. In the resources at the end of this presentation, I've included sharing disability information from Loughborough University. This is a fantastic guide and brings information to you that breaks it down, and all those questions that you think that you need to have answered will be found within that information pack.
Thanks, Teresa. So what are my rights when applying for a job if I'm disabled?
Well, when seeking a job, there's no obligation for you to tell your employer about your disability. This is part of the Equality Act 2010. But know that it's unlawful for an employer to discriminate against you in the hiring process for being disabled. And if the employer is made aware of your disability during your application, they'll be able to ensure that they can make reasonable adjustments for you at the interview and start to think ahead about any adjustments required if they were to offer you a job. And our top tip here is think about your achievements and what you have to offer. Use positive language that's open and honest.
I'm not sure what workplace strategies will help me in different situations. What should I be looking for?
So working lives have changed considerably over the past 2 years due to the pandemic, and the work we thought was impossible to do at home for some turns out to be doable. Many organisations have taken this on board and have integrated new ways of working. We often see a mixture of working styles advertised which balance business objectives with employee needs, such as office-based, remote and hybrid flexible working. It might feel like you're in a maze and can't quite work out the right route for yourself. So perhaps think about these scenarios for work. So can you collaborate and interact equally regardless of location? And are platforms and software accessible if you use assistive technology? And how do you access documents and policies? Are they saved to a shared drive? Do you use assistive technology, and are all the documents accessible? And how are team meetings held and where? Does everybody have an equal opportunity to speak and interact? You may feel anxious and not want to use a camera during remote meetings, or find it hard to articulate thoughts verbally and do better by typing in a chat. You might not be able to attend the meeting due to a medical condition, or perhaps our meetings recorded. Those are some of the questions you might want to think about. Also think how your progress is reviewed. Your organisation will be monitoring how you get along, and often this is set through service level agreements and key performance indicators. They'll also set regular reviews to assess your progress and whether there's anything that you need help with. Effective monitoring will allow you to show and discuss your skills, strengths, and may identify barriers to help or provide further training. So in order to progress, do ask about the review process. It's important to have equal opportunities to do well in your job. And our top tip here is to find out about the tools and platforms used to support inclusion and accessibility, meeting protocols and review mechanisms. So that's basically it. We've provided you with a resources pack here at the end. So it's listing all the links that we've discussed during this presentation, and I hope you found it useful, and we wish you luck with your new ventures into employment. Thank you and goodbye.
Thanks, bye.